So here we go with our activity 1 from our Design 330 week 11. We're going to refine our HVAC design. So the first thing that we need to do is move the terminals around to get them as even as you can. And here I've got a little example to help you out. So I just have kind of a squarish room. If I were to annotate that, it would be somewhere around 40 feet by 36 feet, just as an example. And I've got some stuff in here. I've got my HVAC air handler, and I have some dusting, and I put in my just standard little air terminals. Let me pick on an air terminal there. And it's my standard 24 by 24 with a 12-inch collection, and it's 11 feet up in the air. And so I've done a little preliminary calculation. I'm going to pretend you would get this from your calculations, but I'm going to pretend that I need 1500 CFM. Okay, and you can get that from your total CFM for that space. Okay, and so once you've got that total CFM for that space, you want to know how much each of these terminals is going to be. And so I've got that calculated out. But the main thing I need to do next is set these up so that it's pretty even in each direction. Okay, so if I were to take a detail here, come about halfway out and about halfway down, it would be sort of like what area this air terminal will do. And air terminals blow air outwards and then down. And I'm going to refer you to this video. Okay, you sort of need to do this all at once and read this whole thing. Look at this performance data sheet and watch this video and move these things around. They just all kind of have to happen sort of at once. So read it and try it and then go back and do it again. But you'll see that the air blows outward until it hits a wall or the air that's blowing from another terminal. Once they hit each other, they sort of mix and blow downwards. So the air comes out and then hits the wall and goes down, and goes out and hits the wall and goes down. And that's called the mixing zone. Okay, and we want that to be somewhat even. So here, and it's just air, so we don't, but this is almost 10 feet. This is a little more than 10 feet. Halfway to this one is almost 10 feet. Almost 10 feet, almost 10 feet. So I've got these things spaced kind of like 9, 10, or 11 feet apart. So I want to even these out as much as I can and then find out what this number is. That's your sideways throw. And remember, in between, the throw goes halfway to the other terminal. Over to the wall, it goes all the way to the wall and hits down. Between terminals, it goes halfway to the terminal, and then that air mixes down. Okay, so that's my first step. Get these kind of even. You just got to put some dimensions on and play around. Now, how did I do that? I took my 1 mech, which was my real drawing, and I made a duplicate of it. I duplicated that view, and I'm just going to use it. It's called a working view. I move something around or whatever, it's got to move around. It's not just a drafting view. It's a working view, and this is really common in air conditioning and structural and the like. So I've got my working view. Now this one isn't going to show up on a sheet. It's just where I put a bunch of dimensions so I can see what I did. And I can make sure everything is sort of near 9 to 10 feet apart. Okay, so the distance to the wall is about 10 feet. The distance between the terminals is about 9 feet, 9 feet. So I'm going to do something called using 10-foot sideways throw. The air is going to blow sideways out of this terminal 10 feet. And then I have to figure out how far it's going to go down. See what I'm doing here? I'm sizing each of these. I've got a video that shows you exactly how to do this. But the first thing you have to do is get them all kind of even. Then I have to figure out my throw. And there's two parts of that. There's sideways and down. And you have to add those together. I'm going to resize this a bit. Oh, that was too small. I'm going to resize this thing so everything fits for you. There you go. So sideways and down. Sideways is about 10 feet. Now, how far is it going to go down? It has to go down so it gets to somebody's like head or shoulders. Okay. And this is at 11 feet tall. And people are around 5, 6 feet. I'm going to, oopsie. You know, so it's going to have to go down about 5 or 6 feet to get down to like a 5-foot tall shoulder. Okay, so a standing person is down 6 feet from the terminal. And it goes outward 11, down 6. So my throw is going to be 11 plus 6. How far sideways, how far down? I'm going to have 17 feet of throw at 150 feet per minute. That's how fast the air is going to be blowing. And I need 350 cubic feet per minute of air to come out. I need to find just the right air terminal that does all three of those things at the same time. How do I do that? Okay, I'm going to go to my Jamboard here, and I'm going to duplicate this, I think. Okay, so this isn't what I want this time. I want 17 feet of throw, which is 11 sideways and 6 down at 150, and I want 375. Now, if you watch the video, okay, the CFM all along this top row. This is an air terminal size, an air terminal size, an air terminal size. So I'm going to want one that's pretty big. I'm going to want one that's like 375. There's a 370. And let's see if I can find something pretty close. Okay, so I'm gonna highlight that one. I like 370. That one's kind of close. 384, that's not far off. 400 isn't too far off. So I might be able to pick one of these. 373, 410. Getting a little far away. Let's see if I can make one of these get close to what I want. So the next thing I need to do, once I find some that have an approximately close CFM, I want to find one that has this middle range. There's my throw. And I want this middle one. Okay? And don't worry about too much Y, but that's a common place. So if I pick one in the middle, I can adjust it either way just a little bit to get exactly what I want if I have to. So I want this middle row. Okay, so I want the middle row. And here's one at 370. And I want the first column. That is my throw at 150 feet per minute. That first column right there. Okay. So 16 isn't far off. I was looking for 17. So that one might work out for me. That might be the closest I can get. That one a little bit bigger. I've got 370, that's pretty close, and 16 at 150. That's not far off from my choice. But let's see if I can get a better one or another one. So here's one 384. And again, I want this middle range. Now, do I want one a little bit bigger or a little bit smaller? I don't know. But look, it's about the same. 16. So this one might be a very good choice too. Okay. Now this one takes an 8x8 duct, and this is a 14x6 duct. And so an 8x8 will hook up to a round duct better than a 14x6. So this one is okay, but this is my ducting size that's going to hook up to the air terminal to my ducting. Okay, so this one is 8x8. That's a nice size because a square will hook into a circle easily. This one's maybe not so much. And I can find this other one down here, but it's not doing me much better. So when I look at all of these, my best choice, I think, is an 8x8 duct. It's going to give me 370 cubic feet per minute. That's almost exactly what I want. And my throw will be close, 16 feet. So I just chose what I want for this one. And I'm going to write that down. I want an 8x8 duct. It's going to give me 370 cubic feet per minute. And it's going to give me 16 feet throw at 150 feet per minute. Now, how do I know which one that is? Okay. So this one tells me, right? I would circle that out and say, that's the one I want. Where is that? There it is. Okay, so this is my performance data. So I'd want a 92 HVO, HVV, VHVO, 92. It's really a 92H or a 92V. And I want one with this ducting. And there's more data about it. This will do. This will do. Okay, so let's see what I did. I moved my air terminals around, figured out my throw, I accessed the air diffuser, and I sized each one that I need. Now you have to do that for all of them, right? You have to do those for each of the ones in these little rooms, these little spaces that you need. And you need to do it also for your lobby. And for each of your areas, you have to go through this whole process of getting these kind of close to what you want and getting the numbers and jiggling around to even it all up using that data to get to this data so that you can write it down on here. Okay, so that's your step number one. That's the hardest part about this whole thing.